Okay, now that is what I call a light. For those wondering how I'm trying to light the video, I'm using a desk ring light connected to a power bank. I've now had the Apple Watch Series 7 for around just over 2 weeks, and I think it's time for me to give you my full review. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Harris, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Apple Watch Series 7. For those of you who haven't watched, about 2 weeks ago I uploaded my unboxing and initial impressions of this device, and they were sort of lacking. I didn't really have like a great first impression, I think, of the device because it was so similar to my Series 5, and I'm about to give you my basically what I like, my impressions and my what I think of the Apple Watch Series 7 now, after using it for 2 weeks, pretty much as my daily watch to go. I've been wearing it to the gym, I've been wearing it going out to work and meeting friends. Even when I'm just chilling at home doing nothing, I've been wearing the Apple Watch Series 7. So I'm gonna give you my full rundown of what has actually changed, what stuff is very similar, but is maybe a tiny bit better than it was before, and stuff like that. So the first thing is, this watch is ridiculously similar to the Series 6 and the Series 5 for that matter. At first glance, the display isn't a ton larger. Like, you don't visibly see it, especially when it's in this always on mode. It actually doesn't go towards the edges. This to me looks like the same size. When you do turn it on, and I am using this Apple Watch, I'm using the custom brand new Series 7 watch face that Apple introduced, I can see there's a curvature display. The display is quite a bit larger. However, when it's just sitting on your wrist, it doesn't play any purpose. There are some other watch faces, which I'll try and get out, such as this one here. These sort of watch faces do tend to make a difference when you're using the watch or stuff like that. It's quite, it does push the information to the corners. However, I'm not a big fan of those type of watch faces. I prefer minimal while providing a certain amount of information. So this new, I don't know what it's called actually, this new Apple Watch face they released, which is called Contour, is quite cool for me. I get to have my date, my activity rings, and the time. That's pretty much all I need. Anything else, I don't mind looking into the Apple Watch a bit further. I know some people love to have a crap ton of information on there. Personally, that's not my style. However, Apple did introduce some new watch faces. I think it's the something Duo. Give me a second. It's the modular Duo watch face. Basically, if you know the previous modular watch face, you used to have like one big information and then 3 icons at the bottom. You can now have 2 big pieces of information displaying. Useful if you like that sort of stuff. Messaging on Apple Watch Series 7 is like amazing, right? Because previously on my Series 5, I would never choose to send a message, especially if it was like over 2 or 3 words, from my Apple Watch. Writing each letter out was crazy long, and it was just much faster for me to pull out my phone, type the message, and send it. However, on the Series 7, you get this full-size keyboard. It is a very cramped keyboard, and at first when I saw this at the keynote, and when I was about to start typing on it, I was like, there's no way they're gonna be able to, it's gonna figure out what letters I'm trying to put down on the keyboard. However, Apple has a way with these keyboards, and hear me out. Like, when I press my finger on a letter, I'm probably hitting 2 or 3 letters, but the software is really smart, where I think it tries to figure out what you're typing and the context you're typing of, what the word is you're trying to write down is, and it will just sort of like isolate those letters. And it actually works surprisingly really well. It's not 100% accurate all the time, and I never expected it to be, but it was fairly good at what I was trying to do. It's a quick message. I was able to actually write a couple sentences or a few sentences at a time very, very quickly, probably as quick as my phone. It is a bit weird still when you're in person and you're just... I don't know if this is really the size of the display making a huge difference, because for those of you who don't know, there was a third-party app that was available for the Apple Watch that used to offer the same experience of a full-size keyboard, and you were able to download it on any of the previous Apple Watches. However, earlier this year, Apple took it down. People didn't know why, and obviously this is because Apple were releasing this feature as an inbuilt feature into watchOS for the Series 7. Now, this has caused a lot of commotion within the community because now it's sort of locked into just the latest Apple Watch can use this full-size keyboard, where this app used to work with the Series 4, 5, 6, and maybe even the Series 3, I'm not too sure. And now Apple's taken away the availability of it. So I'm not sure how this, how that's gonna play out. I've heard that the developers are actually suing Apple or in sort of some sort of like legal issue with them. So eventually you might see this third-party app coming back. Is that keyboard well worth, upgrading to the Series 7? No. Is it a big reason why I still have the Series 7 on my wrist? Yeah, pretty much. That's probably my #1 favorite feature right now. I just feel like the Apple Watch is easier to use, and I don't for the first time because I've used every single shape of Apple Watch so far. I've had the Series 3, the Series 5, and now I'm on the Series 7. And for me, I finally feel like I'm not cramped on the screen, which has always been a hard thing for the Apple Watch to achieve, because the Apple Watch is always trying to fit a bunch of stuff into this very, very small display. And that's always gonna have issues, but the Series 7 finally feels like it's using the same software, the same experience from the Apple Watch Series 6. However, you have this just larger canvas to do stuff, so nothing feels like it's just too, there's nothing that feels too close to another button. Even when entering something like your passcode, it's just a lot easier. You just feel more confident touching and interacting with the Apple Watch because you're more confident you're not gonna miss those buttons, which I think is great. I think that actually improves the experience as a whole, but it's not a visible change. It's more of a internal confidence thing, if you know what I mean. Charging was another thing that got upgraded on the Series 7. I still don't use the charger that came in the box. Now, I have this all-in-one charger that I got from Amazon, which basically means I can put my iPhone, my Apple Watch, my AirPods on this one wireless charging stand, and it will just charge everything. And that charger doesn't actually utilize the faster charging from the Apple Watch Series 7, and I don't need it to. I'm perfectly fine with the speed that the Apple Watch already charges at. However, I can imagine a really useful use case for it, which is where, if you use the Apple Watch for sleep tracking and you wake up, you may have 5% left. When you go to shower or something, you could quickly drop the Apple Watch on that fast charger, go take a shower. By the time you come out, you probably have a good day's worth of battery life left. But this brings me on very nicely to where I'm sort of skeptical about the Series 7. And that's where Apple didn't make the upgrades that they should have upgraded. Makes sense. Basically, the Apple Watch Series 7 uses the exact same chip from the Series 6. Now, this is where I'm a bit annoyed at Apple, where Apple would be making amazing strides with how they make their silicon chips, right? We have the M1 and the recently announced M1 Pro and M1 Max, which are some amazing chips. The iPhone chip always seems to improve every year, even though it's been the king of chips for years. So yeah, and we get these U1 chips and all these headphone chips that go into the AirPods, the AirTags. But yet we're still on the same S6 chip from the Series 6. This means there's no performance gains, no efficiency gains, no sort of, the engine of the watch is the exact same as last year's. Apart from that, the looks of this Apple Watch, I'm a very, very big fan of. I think this Apple Watch looks really, really nice. I've got it in the midnight color, which I love. It's basically black, like a graphite color, but then when the light hits it, you can see this nice deep blue color, and it sort of reminds me of the deep blue from the Pacific blue on the iPhone 12 when the light hits it. But on your normal use case, on your wrist, it will just look like the plain standard graphite. So yeah, those are the main changes with the Apple Watch Series 7. It was very hard to make this video. I tried planning it for a few days, but there's not a lot to talk about in regards to the Series 7. The final question is, am I keeping my Series 7? In my first unboxing video, I mentioned that, you know, I had 2 weeks to return it. The 2 weeks are now over, and I decided to keep my Series 7 in the end. Now, it was actually a very, very tough decision. The reason I'm keeping it, there was a few reasons. The larger display and that keyboard especially had me change the way I actually interact with my watch, which was a big thing personally for me. So actually using my watch just to check my messages and quickly reply to something is a lot easier than pulling my phone out, which I would have normally done. This Apple Watch has actually got me off my phone a lot more and allowed me to focus more on what's happening in front of me. Stuff like Apple Pay and everything like that is the same. Nothing has changed in that regard. I love using my Apple Watch for Apple Pay. It's worth maybe waiting a year to see what Apple come out with the Series 8. Do I think like the Series 8 is going to be some big upgrade? I'm about 50-50 on that. Mainly because Apple has like a 3-year design cycle trend that we've seen. And even though I think the Series 7 and Series 6 do look similar, there is a design change. And I have a feeling Apple will stick to it just because that's how they like to do stuff. Or we did see a ton of leaks around a different Apple Watch design this year, and I think that's still possible. We had like some of the most notorious Apple leakers come out with this new boxy design shape that they were all saying this is the Apple Watch Series 7, and we didn't receive that this year. And in my head, I'm like, all those people can't be wrong about the design. So maybe something had gone wrong with that design and Apple had to push it back a year. If you already have a Series 5 or a Series 6, I don't think you need to be rushing to upgrade unless you really just want to. If you have anything before the Series 5 and 6, I do think the Series 7 is a decent upgrade for most people. The always on display is really nice. It makes the watch just look a lot more, you know, it just blends in a lot more. It doesn't look like a normal smartwatch, and it's just useful if you're looking like on a table right now. You can still clearly see it without having to do the weird motion that everyone knows and hates doing all the time. However, if you do not have an Apple Watch, this is where stuff starts to get a lot more tricky, because the Apple Watch Series 7 is on the higher end of Apple's watch lineup. They currently sell 3 models of Apple Watch. You have the Apple Watch Series 3, the SE, and the Series 7. And the Series 7 obviously has a bunch of different materials. I go for the standard aluminium or aluminum. But yeah, so if you're new to Apple Watch, the Series 7 isn't the one you need to get. In my opinion, I think the SE does a fantastic job as an Apple Watch. But if you're just trying to get into smartwatches or an Apple Watch, the SE is a fantastic way to go down. I would avoid the Apple Watch Series 3 if I were you. I just think it's a very outdated design. And when I had my Series 3 and I upgraded to my Series 5, it was much, much better. So I would save your money and try and, you know, if Series 3 is the only one in your budget, I would just wait and save a bit more money and try and get the SE, because I really do think it's worth it. But if you do have the money, the Series 7 is still a fantastic watch. I think it's still one of the best smartwatches you can buy. The Apple Watch is still one of the best smartwatches on the market, and the Series 7 has only improved that with a larger display and everything. So yeah, I'm keeping my Apple Watch. I don't know if I'm gonna regret it next year if there's a whole new design. So we shall see, but you know, it's a fantastic watch. And you know, it does what it says. So I hope this answers all your questions. If not, leave them in the comments and I'll try to reply to all of them. Let me know what you're doing. Are you upgrading to the Series 7? Are you a first-time Apple Watch buyer? Let me know in the comments. I think it'll be really interesting to find out. And if you guys have any other video suggestions, also let me know. I think it's been great reviewing this Apple Watch. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.